Insight book.
So first of all, who is Abishai? Do you know? I had to look him up. Abishai was King David's nephew. Joab was his brother, and he was the military commander of Israel's army. So what was Abishai known for? He was known for his military service. He struck down 300 enemy soldiers one time single-handedly. He took the lead in fighting against the Edomites and the Ammonites. But Abishai was known for much more than just that. He was known for his loyalty. He followed David wherever he went. You might say almost like a good, loyal dog. He was loyal to David. Let's look at a couple of examples. 1 Samuel, chapter 1, and verse 20. 1 Samuel, chapter... looking at my notes wrong. 1 Samuel, chapter 26. And now verses 6 through 9. This is the last time that David will see Saul alive. Then David said to Ahimelech the Hittite and Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, the brother of Joab, "Who will go down with me into the camp to Saul?" Abishai replied, "I will go down with you." So David and Abishai made their way to the troops by night. And they found Saul lying asleep in the camp enclosure with his spear stuck into the ground next to his head. Abner and the troops were lying all around him. Now Abishai said to David, "Today God has surrendered your enemy into your hand, and now please let me pin him to the ground with the spear." And then David goes on to correct him. So Abishai here does several things for David. David asks for a volunteer to go with him. And Abishai here says, "Send me, let me go." He goes in the middle of the night. He risks his own life by going into the middle of the army, the camp where the very men were trying to kill David. Here, he even offers to do the dirty work for David, to kill Saul. Why might he have done that? Maybe he wanted to alleviate all the trouble that David had undergone in his life. He was on the run as a fugitive because of Saul. People were trying to murder him because of Saul. So what do we learn from this? When our friends suffer hardships, are we there to help? Are we loyal? We think too in a general sense when the congregation needs volunteers to do something, maybe lawn maintenance, maybe volunteers to assist with maybe providing food for certain theocratic arrangements. Are we like Abishai and say, "Send me"? Even if it's an inconvenience like it was for him in the middle of the night, do we put aside our own personal preferences to help our brothers and sisters individually or as the congregation as a whole? That's what Abishai did there for David. Let's look at our other account now. 2 Samuel, chapter 21. This is David's encounter with the other giant, not Goliath, but Ishbi-Benob. He was of the same tribe as Goliath, so he was about 9.5, 10 feet tall. He had about an 8-pound spear. So chapter 21, 15 through 17. Once again, there was war between the Philistines and Israel. So David and his servants went down and fought the Philistines. But David became exhausted. A descendant of the Rephaim named Ishbi-Benob, whose copper spear weighed 300 shekels and who was armed with the new sword, intended to strike David down. But notice at once Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, came to his aid. And then he killed that giant. So what do we see there? David is fighting in the middle of a battle. Ishbi-Benob, this other giant, sees that David is wearing out. So he intends to kill him. But then Abishai sees that as well, and he steps in and cuts in front of Ishbi-Benob. So what's the example for us? Do sometimes we feel exhausted? Do you sometimes, friends, feel like the next thing Satan throws at you will be the last? You see, that's the way David felt physically. It says he was exhausted. And the giant noticed that. But so did Abishai, his loyal friend. So we can learn from that. We might see an individual in the congregation maybe undergoing an unusual health problem or another difficulty, family issues. Is it enough just to kind of notice it while Satan is doing what he does? We might talk about it with our friends in the car groups. That's good to be aware, but like Abishai, we need to step in front of Satan, as it were, and help our brothers and sisters. Maybe it's offering rides, taking care of family, offering meals. You see, we all are going to be exhausted at some point. But let's imitate Abishai and step in front of Satan, as it were, and be ready to help. So friends, let's imitate Abishai, look for opportunities to help, be loyal to our brothers and sisters, and try to do all we can in this time of the end while Satan tries to knock us down.